Hello everyone, I am Toby Jan. Today I will be presenting my virtual ethnography on gender with and book preference on the website Qidian. Okay, then let's get to it. At this portion of the presentation, I will be introducing to you my thesis statement, the website that I am going to be looking into and what it is used for, why and how I have chose this website, some major themes that will be explored within this presentation, and some general observations that was made. The thesis statement that I will be arguing in this presentation is that while females would prefer to read stories that consist of romantic elements such as pure love, males would more prefer to read fantasy stories that consists with elements of fighting and harm and lots of girlfriends, since these things are not things that they could achieve in reality in the real life. The website that we are going to be researching about is Qidian. It is a place where people can write stories online for a living. Different from traditional published stories, where people just publish everything in one go. Qidian you upload periodically, typically 2,000 words every day. How and why I chose this website? This website was first introduced to me by my female older cousin, who I was probably around in middle school, and then from then on, I go to this website for pleasure during free time. This website is also famous as lots of film and TV shows, or recreations of novels from these sites. What's more, it is one of the oldest and biggest web novel sites that I was able to find. Some of the major themes that I will be discussing in this presentation will be information about Qidian, just general information, and then I will talk about theories that support my hypothesis and limitations to the observations. Here is a general summary of the observations. There are more male books than there are female books. How are these books determined to be male or female? I will discuss that later as I discuss how Qidian is set up. And the other major observation that I made was that females would also read her, maybe like Mary Sue, and they would also go on and read books that would be considered male books. While males, on the other hand, would also read stories that containing one there was no girlfriend at all. During this portion of the presentation, I will be presenting to you what the website is used for, how is it organized, and how much interaction there is between people within this site, a brief history of how the website came into being, the methods that I will be using within my observations, and some questions that I have asked during my interviews. The name Qidian, when translated into English, actually means starting point. And what is a site used for? Well, it is actually used for hosting creations that might not be fit or were qualified for paper publications. As mentioned before, most of the stories that are published on this website has not been fully written out yet. These stories are created as if people read them. People go to this site to read works that some people might even consider as fast food readings, because these works were not created with the depth that you would expect in traditional readings. How is a website organized? Well, let's separate the male section with a female section. And how would you know what is a male thing and what is a female thing? Well, they basically say if the protagonist was a male, then it probably belongs to the male section. If the protagonist was a female, then it probably belongs to a female section. What's more, it's more of a view of life sort of thing. If you have a more feminine view of things, even though the main character might even not be a female, but if it's a story that you consider females would like it better, then you post it to the female section. This would be easier for the readers to search for what kind of book they are searching for. This site also allows the writer to upload frequently and with less word count, so you don't have to hand in like 50,000 word copy at a time. You just have to hand in around 2,000 words each day. Then the website would choose the works that they see potential for, possibly have already gained a bit of popularity as readers were reading them, and some contracts with this writer. Even though some of the books they sign contract with is not really like, they don't have lots of readers, only like 15 readers at a time. But because the language is fluent and there was not much grammatical mistakes, they would still sign a contract with these works. And then, however, for those with not odd amount of popularity, the contract they sign with them is not too good. It's only about 200 yuan per month. But there are also writers who have lots of popularities and have their novels remade into movies and TV shows. These authors could actually earn up to millions of dollars each year. How much interaction are there within this website? Well, this really depends on the user. If you're a person who would not like to have much interaction with others, then you don't have to interact with other people. On this website, there's nothing that you have to go through, like force you to have a conversation with others in order to use the program. So there's no interactions if you don't want any. Even if you're an author or a reader, you do not have to read the opinions and comments of the readers if you're an author. And you don't have to read the, opinion of the author that comes after the story if you're a reader. So there's no interactions if you don't want any. However, if you're a person who is open to interaction, there's a lot of opportunities, interactions. For example, the book list. You could share your book list with others, and then you could put your opinion, why you want to read this book, and why you would recommend it to others. And there's lots of people who became popular with their book list, and people would go to their book list and choose from the book lists to read. However, the majority of the interaction that happen between readers and authors happen in two places. One is a comment section right below each story or each book. There people would post their opinions of the book. The other place where interaction happens the most is in QQ chat groups. It's basically the same as Facebook chat groups, but there is a code you could use to join the chat group. And then usually the author would create a chat room for his fans to join the chat room, and there they would talk about the story that the author has wrote, and then maybe tell the author, hey, speed up the typing, update faster, we want more things to read, or just joke around. However, there is one thing that I noticed in these chat rooms is that the author is not always present, and even when the author is present, lots of times they would peek at the screen and not say anything. I think it's because they want to observe what the readers are talking about and hopefully make their story more to the taste of the readers. Here is a brief history of how Qidian was first established and became as popular and famous as it is today. In 2001, it was first established as a Chinese Magic Fantasy Association. It was known for the genres in Chinese magic, kung fu, military, etc. In 2002, it was first established as a Qidian website, but remains as a private website. In 2003, it officially became a company and a public website. It then sets up industry standard for minimum wage amount of 2 cents per 1,000 words. In 2004, it increased from 5 books with contract to 100 books with contract, and the highest pay amount of wage that it was paid increased from only 2 cents per 1,000 words to 40 yuan per 1,000 words. That's a big increase, over 2,000%, I think, increase, which is a tremendous increase from the prior amount that it was paying to the authors. In 2008, it was bought by the company Cloudberry Corporation. In 2015, it merged into Tencent, which was the biggest corporation in China. It's basically the Facebook that was in China, and it became the China Literature Limited. And one thing that you might want to know about the China Literature Limited is that basically all the web novel sites and all the writing sites in China belongs to the China Literature Limited, or at least the China Limited has stock in all of the web novel sites that's in China. The method of research that I am going to use in this virtual ethnography is count the total amount of books in the categories males and females, and would observe the comments and posts responded to the authors who are having a hard time in their lives, and just the posts in general, and then join the QQ chat groups created by the authors, observe the conversations that was happening off the platform that was on Qidian. Here are some of the questions that I've used for interview during this virtual ethnography. What do you think of the website Qidian? What kinds of book do you like to read on the website Qidian? Why do you like these books? What might be a book that you would recommend to others? During this part of the presentation, I will present the theory that support my thesis statement. The theory of biological determinism supports my thesis, as it points out everything is determined by biology. Males would like to read stories that consist of fighting and violent elements because they have higher levels of testosterone. And due to the instinctual nature of reproduction, they would want to mate with as many females as possible. So they would like to read stories that would have a lot of girlfriends. The male protagonists would have lots of wives. Females, on the other hand, also because of this instinctual nature to reproduce, they would like to have a boyfriend that is loving them and would support them, which is something you see in romantic stories, where the man is willing to give up their life for their female counterparts. During this part of the presentation, I will be presenting the observations that I have made. As you might have seen, to your left is a female website, and to your right is a male website. If you observe carefully, on the right of the angle of each of the pictures I've posted is a number. That number is the total number of books present in each website. And as you observe, the male website always has more than the female website. Another difference that was present was that when I used the app and when I went to the actual website, they gave me different total numbers. I think this is a result of them being under the China Literature Limited. The website includes all the books from China Literature Limited, so they might not be limited to only Qidian. However, the app, I used on my phone to check the total amount of books, it was different. So I think the number of books present on the app is a more actual number, as it was a lot smaller than the number present on the website. Contrary to what I was expecting to see, there would be a lot of pure love stories with a single woman and a single man in love. In the female section, I was able to find a lot of stories that would be considered very Sue, since the female protagonist would have a lot of men surrounding her and all liking her. What's more, as I done my interviews with some of the readers, not the one I had presented on the screen, since the person I interviewed asked that I would not share the screenshots of the conversations I had with her, she said that before 2019, when Qidian was shut down for a period of time to restructure and everything, because there was a lot of stories that were considered inappropriate to be posted. So before that happened, there was a lot of stories where the girl would have multiple boyfriend and husband, and one girl would marry many men, and she would have sex with them, and then she would give birth to the child of those men. And what's more, some of the cases, it's not the woman giving birth in the female section of the Qidian website. In this section, there would be stories that it was a female-dominated world, while the man gives birth to the child. At other cases, there's even the woman would marry multiple animals, or you could say monsters, that has became human. Previously animals, but became human. And then the girl or female would give birth to animals, such as snakes and fox, which was something strange, and I was not expecting to see this. What's more, females would also read sections from the male section, since those stories were also interesting in some aspects. In the male section of the website Qidian, I was also able to find a lot of stories with the male equivalent of Mary Sue, where there is a single male protagonist surrounded by all these female characters. However, during one of the interviews I had with the readers that I was able to find in one of the QQ groups, he said that he was fed up with these kind of stories, as the authors do not come up with new ideas. They always use the same old characters that was used before. As some of the books was a lot of times had characters from other stories that was already made. He pointed to an example of Harry Potter. Well, Hermione Granger was a lot of times one of the characters that these people who was reincarnated from our real world after reading Harry Potter. They were reborn as a little child, 15 years old or younger, and then they went into Hogwarts. And then they would hang out with Hermione Granger because they liked the character as they were reading the book. He said that he was fed up with these kind of storylines, as the author repeatedly used the same character of Hermione Granger as one of the female characters. What's more, because there was lots of books with a male character as multiple wives, the readers starting to like books without any female characters, or with only a single female character. The other thing was that I discovered a lot of books within the male section did not involve fighting. Instead, it was about enjoying the simplicity of the everyday life. So that was another thing I was not expecting to see. Furthermore, on observing some of the responses responded to authors who were having a hard time, they were quite nice, which was surprising. As I personally, when I was using the website during my free time, I would lots of times hear famous authors complaining about readers who were just dumping their hard times and emotions onto the website, basically just making out flaws that were not flaws, and just saying how bad the writing is when the writing is actually good. So it was surprising to see that the nice responses to authors who are having a hard time and complaining about it, as they say, sorry I could not update because my father just had a heart attack, I have to bring him to the hospital. The responses were like, hey, hope you get better soon, and stuff like that. But because from prior to this, the responses that I was expecting to see was like, hey, that's just an excuse, why didn't you update? Those were not responses that I saw. Furthermore, like I mentioned before, because some of the authors were repeatedly using characters that were from other stories, so readers were starting to want to see creativity over repeatedness. During this section of the presentation, I will be summarizing everything up and comparing my results with the thesis. Also, there were more male books than there were female books. Females would also read her, such as Mary Sue, and they would also go over to read the male books. Males, on the other hand, would also read books that containing only one female character or no female character at all. So, I would conclude that gender does not determine the category of books read by people on this website, GDM. Some limitations within this ethnography is that I remain the only observer, and the sample size that I looked into still remain relatively small to the total number of books that is on the website. What's more, this was only one of the websites in China, so I could not be certain if it's the same for the other websites that's out there. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe Christmas break. Be well.